right, getting started here in a second, everybody. Thanks for joining. We have a few people joining us live in Zoom, a few more over on YouTube and Facebook Live. So we'll try to watch all the chats. And we have a few questions that came in ahead of the workshop as well. So if you're in Zoom with us live, you can drop your questions into chat. It's a short workshop up front, really quick, going to be about 10-minute kind of presentation on what's working right now. What are some of the simple tools you can use to make ads a lot easier on yourself? And after this quick workshop, then we open it up to an Ask Me Anything. So ask about your own ads, ad strategy. If you're more advanced, we can talk about what to do with larger budgets or scaling, go deep on funnels. But we are watching the chat on Facebook Live and YouTube Live as well. So if you're watching there, you can ask your questions there. And like I said, a few of you sent emails ahead of time with questions. I actually took those. Some of those were specific to the tools, so we're going to cover that during this workshop. So with that, for everybody who's on time, we're going to get started. So diving in here, what we're talking about today is one of the hardest things with ads, especially if you're managing your own ad campaigns and running a business, is it always feels like you're starting from scratch. You run into this a lot if you're making your own organic social content, but what do you make? What should you say? How should you say it? How should you film it? How do you design an image? How do you make the video? It always kind of feels like we're starting from zero. So I want to get you past that point. Creative isn't scary. Creative is natural. If you've built an audience at all, just do more of that. People liked what you're doing organically. Don't try and copy everybody else, but we can use other people for inspiration, and I'll show you how to do that as well today. And so there's a lot you can do. Meta's gotten more and more powerful, and it's making things a lot easier in some ways for business owners and creators to run their own ads. That means it has a lot of suggestions. It'll do things automatically. It's got a lot of AI baked in. But things can also go haywire if you don't know what you're doing or you're not confident. So I want to help you leverage the parts that Meta's already making it easy to run ads, and then help you, get less confused about the other pieces. And so today we're focusing on kind of the simple tools that anyone can use. Some of these you probably already use in your own business. You don't have to necessarily go out and buy 5 new tools. Some might be free. But the idea is create a simple stack of a couple tools that you can use to make ad creative and managing your ads way easier. And then once you have a process, it starts to be repeatable. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're not going into super advanced tools. If you have questions on those, feel free to ask. When you're, as an agency, we use tools to manage a lot more clients, larger ad spends, sometimes some third-party tools to make launching ads easier. You don't need any of that if you're running your own ad campaign. So that's what we're focused on here. But for the AMA, we can take this in any direction you want. So get those questions queued up. If you have questions pop up during this short presentation in this workshop, drop them in the chat. Most likely I'll answer at the end, but if I see a few that seem to be relevant and I can jump in right away, I will cover those. So just make sure you ask your questions in the Everyone channel because that's what we'll be watching. But if you're on Facebook Live or YouTube, just in the comments, we'll grab the questions. So let's dive in. All right. Everyone can relate. You know what it's like to stare at a blank piece of ad creative and feel stuck. I do. Everyone on our team does. We still have that. It's hard to start from scratch. So that's why we don't. You want to get past that because everyone feels it and you want to be able to go to the next level. This is just one example. We've worked with one of our clients here, Chamblanc Media. They have a team member running their own ads, Chloe. We worked with them not only on their ad strategy and their funnels, but also on their creative process. And they took to it like real heroes. They took our structure, they stole our frameworks. We gave them all the guidance. And because they were able to create diverse ad creative that matched their brand, matched their audience, and create a lot higher volume of ad creative, they were able to take their ad spend from $80 a day to $1,500 a day. And so it is possible with a real process to not get stuck anymore, to come up with ideas. And then once you're doing it, you start to get data and metrics, and it tells you what you should make more of. So then you can actually get inspiration from your own ad campaigns. We've been doing this now for over 10 years. The platform's changed a lot. tools are getting better and better. And so every year there's new tools we use and discover. And we're going to go through some today. And again, some you'll be aware of, some you already use. Some might be new. There's a lot of versions of these tools, so you can find one that works for you. But I just want to get you thinking about what's possible and how you can make creating ads and managing ads so much easier. So the overview of where we're going, it's a simple workflow. This works for every business, every client we've worked with. There's 5 stages of coming up with a marketing plan, but also coming up with an ad specific plan, really around messaging and ad creative. Capture, capture internally. What do clients say? What do your best leads say? What are their fears, pains? Capture externally, inspiration from other competitors. Sometimes non-competitors are an even better source of inspiration. What are people doing in totally different industries from you that are still interesting and that you could, you know, take inspiration from and bring into your own business? Oftentimes, what's working great in another industry is when you apply to your own business, looks brand new and becomes really exciting. So capture, screenshot, grab other ads you like, other organic content that seems to, be catching fire. Use all of those as swipe files and inspiration. Uh, and then organize it. Name it, put it in folders, organize it by type, category, as much as you can so that you have a real database of what you liked and why. I'll tell you the number one thing when you're making your own swipe files that gets lost fast is if you just grab screenshots and you don't name them really in a detailed way with different things you like, the type of content, you're just going to be looking through hundreds of files and not even remember why you grabbed something. So start from the beginning, organize it really well, and then you're going to create it. And there's a lot of tools out there now that make creation of these pieces of creative way easier than even 5 years ago. And then test. The goal is create very diverse pieces of ad creative and then test as much as you can. And so we're going to go through this whole workflow. And the key piece is once you're done and tested, review and then start over. And then you can start using your own ad creative at the capture stage to inspire you to test new ideas. But the one thing to flag is there's a real foundation underneath this workflow that actually determines whether any of these tools pay off at all. These tools make it easier, but they don't determine your outcome. We'll come back to that and what really, will set you apart to have ad success. Uh, but these tools make it a lot easier on the ad creative side. And I know that's one of the biggest hurdles for most creators and business owners managing their own ads. Paste. This one's newer for us. There's many tools out there like this. I've tried several over the years. Paste right now is our absolute favorite. Uh, if you've run ads at all, or even done any kind of editing, Paste is just a super clipboard. Anything you copy gets saved at the clipboard, and you can recall it. Have you ever like one of the biggest things that frustrates me is making ad creative. You copy ad copy to paste somewhere else. You accidentally forget or copy something else, then you have to go back and find the ad copy you were trying to paste. We often are pasting copy in a lot of different places. Paste app, it's a quick command. It pops up a toolbar, shows you everything you've copied. And then you can also organize it to save it forever. So you could organize it for us by client, by marketing project, by campaign, and you could have quick access. So something I clipped, a week ago, I could still go grab and have a record of it. It saves you so much time. It's really one of those things that sounds almost so simple, it's stupid. Try it. I swear, as soon as you start using it, you'll be amazed at how much time you wasted, copying, pasting, dropping into your, your Notes app on your Mac or into a Google Doc. It's going to really, really help. And so anything doesn't have to be this app. We're not a sponsor of it, not an affiliate. There's a few out there like it. This is the one we currently like. Copy your hooks, your CTAs, ad copy, really great, your URL parameters, anything that you're kind of copying and pasting and trying to get everywhere. Save it to the clipboard, organize it. It will save you so much time. So that's a quick small one. Foreplay, there's a few companies out there like this, foreplay.co, but they do a few things. But the reason I flagged it here is it's a great place to get ad inspiration. Right now, for free, a lot of times we tell clients and people we work with, if you know a few competitors or creators you like or businesses, you can go to Meta's ad library and look up ads they're currently running. Foreplay Dough does this for you at a much larger scale. You can search for just context. So, the type of content you're looking for, the type of creator, the industry, and just get a giant list of ads that have been flagged. And so you don't have to come up with a specific name. You can discover names, competitors, people in related industries that aren't competitors that you might be able to get inspiration from. And then you could download it. You could download the ad, screenshot it, save it, and just organize it inside of Foreplay. But it really helps you get started because now you don't have data on necessarily on what works. You could look at how many impressions, how long it's been on, and that might indicate it's been working for that team. But at the very least, it starts to give you ideas of what you could do for yourself. Um, Not every ad has to be salesy, so you'll find a lot of great content ads that you could use as more top of funnel inspiration. And you'll find some great sales ads. If you're ever worried about feeling salesy, you can find some ads that you really like that sell something that aren't overly aggressive. It does a lot more. You can actually go look at data if you pay for a higher tier. But really, the key thing is just getting inspiration. So instead of just randomly screenshotting, this lets you do an organized search to find inspiration you're looking for. Uh, the number one issue people have when coming up with ad creative is just solving the blank page. Starting from nothing is tough. So take these, then you can see something that looks good that you like, and then you can kind of run with it and apply it to your business. And not just the visual creative. What are the hooks? What are the visuals and messaging patterns that are being used? Study them and then apply it to your own business. Canva. Hopefully, most of you are already using Canva in some way out there. It makes graphic design for organic social, email, even your own website a lot faster and easier. The reason we recommend everyone use it for ads, maybe you're already a designer and you're using Figma or something more advanced like Adobe, but for everyone else, Canva comes with a ton of pre-built templates. You can actually select not just social and Instagram, but also ads. And then those templates already have the spacing you need for ads. So, the top 10% of a story is, empty space, no text. So your social handle can go there. The bottom 10, 15% doesn't have text because the learn more swipe up feature will be there. So these templates already do the hard part for you of organizing it the way Meta needs to see it. So you can start there. You can pick any design. You could start simple. Um, it'll save you so much time. One thing we really like to do is we work with clients in a couple different tiers, one on a pure coaching level, one on a tighter scope ad management level where there is a group component, and one where we're deeply embedded with the team for full ad management. But in our group levels, we really want to work with people to create templates. Come up with 5, 10, 15 image templates that you really love, that then you can take them and just change the image, change the text on the text overlay to test messaging. And then if you see certain templates working, make a note, move those over into a winners folder in Canva and iterate on just the winners and then try some, wild variations. It's a great way to come up with a lot of creative quick without having to rebuild it from scratch every time, which I see way too many people doing. You don't have time for that. Come up with 5 to 10 templates that you love, and then just test different images, different text overlay and messaging, and only then iterate on the winners because you don't know what works until the data comes in. So you can then save these as templates in Canva, move them into folders, you organize them yourself in Canva by the specific offer, promotion, campaign, whatever makes sense for you. But again, saves you so much time once you set it up. That's a key theme here for all these tools. Get organized early and you will, it'll pay off tenfold once you start testing more and more things because the ads that win with one layout, that layout often then wins across all your other campaigns with different images and different text. So I know a lot of you are using Canva. It might not be a big surprise, but usually we don't see people using it to its full potential. So that's really what I want to highlight here. CapCut and Descript, video editing. This can be so hard for people who've never edited video. CapCut, we love. It's a simple web editor tool. You know, if you're an Adobe wizard, you can use some of the Adobe products for this, but there's a steep learning curve. CapCut makes it simple. You can do it on desktop or on mobile. Desktop gives you a few more features. The reason we love it, it can make quick edits. You can, cut out space really easily. You can add on everything you would normally see in a ad or organic video, like text overlay, audio, cut between videos. Like any of the great editing you've seen can be done in CapCut. Instagram also has a tool that you can use called Edits. It does a very similar thing. It's basically copying CapCut. CapCut was first. So either one, it's a great tool. Takes slight learning curve. Maybe takes you an hour to get in there, make one video, and kind of figure out what works for you. But really easy. Auto captions, different designs, and just make your videos way more interesting and engaging. Descript, similar, more on the actual ad or a video editing side, but they can add visuals too. The thing we love about Descript is they've built in a lot of default AI tools. So instead of having to manually trim silent parts or ahs and ums, you can just check two buttons and it'll automatically clip out any filler words like ah or You can set it to, trim anything over a certain amount of time. So you can say any 1 second pause or more, just shorten it. That sounds silly maybe if you haven't done a lot of video editing, but I guarantee your social videos and your ads that have quick cuts perform better because that's the way our brains work today. Those cuts keep us engaged. The not long pauses starts to feel a little bit faster, like you're getting to your content, and people swipe away less. Uh, and it's really finicky to have to do it by hand. You can, if you haven't done these video editors before, it'll show you the audio waves so you can just see the gaps where you're quiet and trim it yourself. It takes forever, especially if you're not a video editor. So Descript making it automatic like that, and then you can add in captions there. It's a huge time saver. So highly recommend doing those video edits, even to your organic social if you're not. This one is highly worth it. They're both paid tools, at least if you want to have all the features, and this is one for even just organic. Highly, highly recommend. Now, not as fun. The output isn't as sexy, but being organized, it's a must. So most people will ignore me. You'll start with more of the fun tools. You'll make ads. You'll cut your videos. You'll drop swipe files into a Google folder without names. But if you can start from the beginning, just being organized with this, later you will thank yourself so much. Doesn't really matter. You can use Notion, Airtable. Metricool is actually designed a little bit more for reporting, but also has the ability to capture all the information you need. There's so many more you could use. Asana, really any management, like task management tool can do this. Airtable is great though, because Airtable and Notion both have databases, but you just need some way to organize all of these assets, your ad creative, your swipe files. If you can use something like a database like Airtable or Notion, you can make it searchable so you could tag things and have an organizing system. So you could look up, have it tagged, this is a video, this is educational content. This is a sales content. Here's what I'm promoting in it. This is a lead magnet doing X. This is a sales offer promoting Y. And that way then you can quick filter, same with your swipe file. It will save you a ton of time. For swipe files, this is a great way for inspiration. If you have a team, even a team of contractors, being able to point them somewhere and say, I'm running a lead magnet campaign, offering this. This is the type of audience. Filter for it in my Notion or Airtable database, and you'll find 10 to 15 examples of other ads and some of our own ads that I love and that have worked well for us. So start there. So if you work with another designer and you're not making your own ads in Canva, they can at least see what you like, what works, and get inspiration from there. If you're doing it yourself, even better. You can just go through, see the ones you've already tagged, and try to find something in Canva that's similar. Again, doesn't really matter. Maybe you're already using something that you think you could use for this. Just pick it, set it up, and stop burying everything in just random drive folders and notes and in Slack DMs. So get organized now with this. It'll save you so much time later. A little bit of a bonus. So many creators and business owners these days are using Loom. It's a must with ads. When we work with our coaching clients in our group coaching, it's basically mandatory. You can't just ask a question about your ad account in Slack. You need to send a Loom video because you could ask a question. There's so many it depends that we could give back. If you show us the issue you're having or specifically what you're looking at in a video, we can see everything. We can see the things you might not have thought were important that we know are. We can see what you're clicking, what you're doing. And so when you're doing your own ad creative, super helpful. Record a video when you're done. Here's how my ads performed. Here's what the numbers look like. Here's what I think. Maybe get that transcribed and save it. If you're working with a team, a graphic designer, Loom will save you so much back and forth. But also just for yourself, documenting it, getting it documented in a 5-minute video is way easier than typing out all your thoughts. And then later when you go back, you can see what you were looking at. And so this one's deceptive. Maybe you're using Loom for other things. Using it for ad creative, even just on your own and taking notes about what's working with Loom's transcript feature, it's a huge lifesaver later when you're trying to understand what you did, why, what worked, what didn't. If you're using AI, you can take those Loom transcripts, save them, and then later you can easily search with AI through them to grab the key details, find the pieces of information that are worth kind of escalating to say like, oh, last 3 campaigns I called out, this type of image as a winner. Maybe I should have actually noted that somewhere so we can try it faster. So Loom helps in all parts of your business to work async, get rid of calendar events and calls, but for ads, very, very sneaky MVP. Even doing it yourself, because most times people think of Loom as videos for other people. So definitely a big winner there. So again, this is a short workshop, and then we're going to the AMA. We whipped through that fast. These are just some of the tools that will make your life a lot easier coming up with ad creative and managing your own ads. There's a lot of other tools out there. There's many more advanced tools. Most of those, though, are not necessary. If you're not doing these things, start here. If you're not spending more than a few $1,000s a month in ad spend, you don't need the larger tools, the bigger tools, the more expensive tools. Some of these are ones you probably already have, which is also why they're on the list. I wanted to show that you can leverage some tools you already use to improve your ad creative. And the key is just using the system. Capture what works, what you like with other people's ads, what works for you, organize it so you could actually use it later. And then use simple things like Canva, Descript, or CapCut to edit your ads quickly because with ad creative, perfection is your enemy. You don't know what's going to work, so making an ad that's perfect to you visually is basically meaningless. I'd rather try 20 imperfect ads, see what works, and then iterate on the winners without, spending 10 times the amount of time to make that one perfect ad that's perfect for you. So these tools help you test fast, test a lot, get the data so that, after you launch and you're in the review stage, you can actually have real numbers to look at. So instead of debating if this image is better than this image, launch both, test both, and then review the results. I would say 70% of the time, the one that you think is the best doesn't win. So it's worth testing everything and test often. So that's how to go through these quick tools that help you manage ads faster and easier. But like I mentioned at the top, there's a foundational piece with ads that's just setting it up correctly, knowing your numbers, trusting that the conversion you're optimizing for is actually working. And that's why we have the stress-free ad setup course. This is for people that are running their own ads or just starting and you don't know what you don't know, right? Ads are running, you don't know what metrics to pay attention to. You're not sure if it's actually even working the right way. A big sign you probably need help is you're optimizing for traffic or just engagement and not for conversions, because most of you are going to want leads and sales. And so if you're not letting Meta work for you by optimizing for leads or sales, then you're missing out on a huge benefit. And that's where the stress-free ad setup course comes in. It gets you the perfect foundation so that then you can go through this framework quickly iterate on ads, test, know what's working and know what's not. Because even though Meta makes it so much easier now to, find your right people, find your audience, you still have to set it up correctly because it will only do what you tell it to do. So if you have the best creative in the world, if your actual setup isn't working, you're never going to know if the creative actually had a chance. So that's why we have the stress-free ad setup course. We have some bonuses in there that really help you, not just get the foundation, but take it much further, how to actually, project your numbers based on your metrics. That's the marketing math guide. A lot of times ad success isn't because of ads, it's because of your funnel. So you could have the best setup in the world, but the wrong offer, attracting the wrong audience. The landing page blueprint will take you through that. Make sure your landing page is designed to attract not just leads, but leads that are more likely to buy and help you convert those leads better. There's an ad creative guide, so you could use that guide to come up with some ideas around ads to test, get inspiration from today's framework of how to, capture the swipe files from competitors and other creators. And then the ad benchmarks guide really walks through the minimum numbers you need to be seeing to know if what's working is working. And a special bonus just for people who registered for this workshop or anyone who's watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, a 30-minute laser strategy call with me. You come prepared with all of your questions, your live ad campaigns. We do a direct screen share. You walk me through, you can show me creative. We can work on that together. We can audit your funnel, check your tracking, make sure your ad campaigns are working. You can show me what questions you have or where you're getting stuck. Usually this 30-minute session is a huge unblock for people when it's paired with the course. So that's why we've added it here. Normally for a 30-minute call, that's going to be $375 for a coaching call. And we don't normally even offer a 30-minute call. Usually it's an hour or more. So this is a big benefit to anyone who's running their own ads or about to, and pairs perfectly with the course. And so you can check out the course at intentionalspark.com/stress-free. Right now, the course is $599 and it comes with those bonuses and the $375 laser strategy session included. You can get this now only if you're a registrant until this Friday at midnight Pacific. So that's the offer. You can check it out at intentionalspark.com/stress-free. Ask me any questions about it. It's time for the AMA, but also I'm ready to answer questions about ad creative tools that we use, everything else that's working or not working right now with ads. It doesn't have to be about today's workshop. These AMAs, we do them once a month. And so we cover questions that anybody might be interested in. We do have one or two questions that came in early. I will cover those first if no one has questions in the chat. Again, if you're on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, I'm checking there, so feel free to comment. Otherwise, if you're on Zoom, drop a question in the chat. So one question that came in early about ad creative came in a few different times, said a few different ways, but it basically boils down to something we hear a lot, which is just, I'm not a designer. And it doesn't matter. If you're a creator, if you're a business owner, if you have any customers, you know what they want because you somehow have attracted and sold people already. So you don't need to be the world's best copywriter. Figure out the language of your customer. You probably already have interviews, you've talked to them, people have commented or replied to your emails. Grab the language they're using, use that language, take language from your best converting email, use it in ad copy. Make a video that's you straight to camera. Don't worry about editing it. Just get it out there and test it. But if you start then adding in things like CapCut or Descript to edit that video slightly better, not get a professional camera or anything, just use your phone, but chop out the pauses, maybe clip it. So if you're stumbling a lot, you can just restart and easily add in when you went back and said the part you missed over. Add in really nice looking captions. That makes it way faster. And that's why I send everyone to Canva. So I emailed everyone back who emailed early with their question about this and just said, use Canva templates. Not any templates. Go find the IG ads template or Facebook ads template for vertical, but use that. Pick one you like. It'll be sized the right dimensions. It'll have space the way Meta needs it. And then just put simple text overlays in there to get started. So don't overcomplicate this. You don't have to look at your absolute favorite brand and try and then design something that looks like their ads. It's better to try a few different things using these templates that already exist, see what works, and then iterate than really struggling because you're not a designer. Most people who have huge businesses and that are creators, didn't start as designers. They ran ads, they did straight to camera video, no text overlay, no captions, and that can still work. So don't let not being a designer stop you from, launching ads and getting them started. That really does not, cause the biggest issue that you think. Where people do get stuck is what I said. They have the wrong foundation. They, are running traffic campaigns and wondering why they're not getting leads, or they're running engagement ads and wondering why they're not getting sales. So setting up your account correctly with campaigns that actually do the work for you and, leverage how easy Meta now has made it for Meta to help you as far as optimizing for the goal you want. That's what you need to worry about. On the ad creative side, you can follow this process to come up with a lot of really good looking ad creative really quickly. And if you need that foundation, like I said, /stress free, intentionalspark.com /stress free, grab the course, get the laser strategy session with me, get those additional bonuses. That's really going to set you on the path that you need to then leverage testing all of this ad creative. Another question we've had a few times is around, when to optimize for leads or conversions like sales versus engagement or traffic. General rule, unless you give me an example in your business, you should always be optimizing for a conversion. Leads, sales, checkouts, registrations. Uh, give me a use case. Maybe I'll tell you should try link clicks, but 99.9% of the time when I run into someone, they should always be doing a conversion campaign. That is not only going to then have Meta start, telling you in your reporting what's working, how many leads you're getting. Meta will go after a different type of audience. It will go after people that like to opt in. And then when they start seeing people opt in for your free thing, it will find more people like those people. So it will start working for you versus a traffic campaign, which is just going to find people that love to click ads. And then when they do click, it will go find a lot more people like those people who love to click, regardless of what they did on your website. So that's another question that's come in on several of the last workshops. And I think the big thing there is most people are intimidated to set up their meta tracking, get the pixel on the website and set up a conversion event. It can be scary to do that, but there's a ton of tools that make it easy. There's a whole module in our stress-free ad setup course that goes through this and walks you through how to do it on several platforms. It's the number one thing you can do to get better ad results. Well, great. Last chance to get in your questions. If you have any specific questions on these tools or your ads, other people's ads, ad strategy in general, or the stress-free ad setup course. If not, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you join by this Friday to get a chance to lock in the laser strategy session and those extra bonuses.